Hi, and welcome to the latest edition of the CE Pro podcast. I'm Executive Editor Arlen Schweiger. This week, we're kicking off a new segment that we'll be featuring from time to time called Industry's Got Talent. Leon Speaker's Camila Ballario has proven to be a unique voice within the custom electronics industry, quite literally. Hear why as she shares her story with CE Pro Senior Editor Bob Archer.
Hello, this is Bob Archer. I'm Senior Editor of CE Pro Magazine. Today, I am with Camila Ballario, and Camila is with Leon Speakers. Camila, you might have saw her this past fall with the CE Pro AllStar Band. She sang a number of songs, and she's a singer-songwriter out of the Midwest and the Michigan area. Camila has a catalog of music as a singer-songwriter, and she's also a stand-up comedian. So she's very outgoing, and she decided to take a few minutes out of her day to speak to us about her music career. Hi, Cami.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Thank you. Let's get right into this. You're an Argentinian-born singer-songwriter. When did you come to the U.S., and when did you first realize that music and public performance would be an avenue you would pursue?
You know, I get asked that a lot. So I moved to the state of Michigan from Argentina in the early 90s. So I was just 3 years old. So I've been here forever. I just turned 31 this year. So I've been here my entire life, essentially. I think that my first recorded public performance was in the 5th grade. I got a solo in our 5th grade musical, and then I did pretty much musical theater through high school. Every year I was in at least one production of something, and then I went on to study music in my undergraduate degree. So I did the whole gamut of study of music. Pretty much classical through college. I studied opera music in my undergraduate degree. So been at it for a while.
Wow. You referenced your music school background. Now, you did go to music school, and you've been gigging for many years as a performing musician. How have these experiences shaped you as the musician you are now?
Yeah, well, there's a lot to be said. I get asked a lot, do I regret studying music in my undergrad? I mean, I'm getting my MBA right now, so do I wish I had studied something maybe a little bit more relevant to my current degree? And I say absolutely not. I think that my undergraduate degree in performance shaped the person that I am and made me into the person that is successful in this business program directly. I think that what performance can teach someone is just kind of this notion of resilience, this notion that rejection is not failure, which I think can be very difficult for people. So I think a lot of people throughout their whole lives have a hard time accepting failure, or rather accepting rejection and even failure. And how do you move forward from when you get, continuous no's? And it can teach you quite a bit about yourself and the grit that it takes to continue and become the person that you want to become amidst a lot of rejection, which is, I think, the case for any career path that you might choose, or any personal and professional path that you might choose. It also taught me that it's not worth it to take every gig. I think that for a while you think that in order to get shows, you have to take every show possible. That both on the music and the comedy front. And that can be pretty draining, and almost you feel like you're giving too much of your soul away. And I felt that way before. And I think that once you can get past that desperation, which I think happens to most performers in the beginning, where you feel like you have to kind of sell in order to get more. Once you stop feeling the urge to do that, you can really lean in and enjoy the performance, the rhythm of, kind of taking the shows and enjoying every single second, kind of savoring them as they come.
When did you first learn about Leon Speakers? And since then, how have you been able to balance your career at Leon and your musical and performance career?
Yeah, I started with Leon in 2013. So I've been there for, it's coming on 7 years in August. So I've been there for quite a while. I grew up there. Much like most people who have been there, we have a lot of people that have been there for quite a while. Um, I heard about Leon speakers actually through my ex-boyfriend. My ex-boyfriend introduced me to Leon, introduced me to Noah, the president of Leon. And the reason that I was brought there was, well, my first experience at Leon was actually, Leon was opening a live music venue that's become pretty popular called the Leon Loft. And we, Leon at the time, so not we at the time, I didn't know anybody there. I went there and it was just kind of this bare performance space. And I took my guitar and played music there. I wasn't even looking for a job. And I think like 3 weeks later, I was hired on full time just to, and yeah, it was just a very unorthodox interview, I would say.
So you would say that maybe being a musician may have helped you uh, gain a position within Leon?
Well, I talk about, yeah, I would say yes. Most people at Leon are performers or creative in some way, whether they're artists, sculptors, DJs, yoga teachers, whatever the case may be. Um, but I always talk about this when I talk about our culture and really how it draws the right people in. So we're a very creative culture. And so it's almost kind of this like energy that draws just the right people that fit into our culture and mesh with our core values. It brings the right people in. And if someone joins us who doesn't really align with our core values of creativity, authenticity, then it's pretty obvious and they don't really, stick around. And I would say that that's held true in the 7 years that I've seen the company grow.
I have to ask this because I think of you as like an alternative country, Americana type of
Yeah.
performer. Who were some of the artists that inspired you, and why did these artists inspire you?
I would say my favorite singers are Brandy Carlisle and Miranda Lambert. I'm really I'm a huge fan of Patty Griffin as well. Um, Bonnie Raitt, another Chris Stapleton. I'm a big fan of. I would say that those artists are the reason that I love them the most is they're really genuine. Their voices come from a very special place inside of them. They don't alter their voice. They're not trying to be a sound. And as a result, you can like really hear them authentically when they're singing. That's always what my goal has been. It's been sometimes when I hear myself singing, and particularly covers, I think some people, including myself, will learn a cover almost in the voice and the stylings of the person that sang it. And when I hear myself doing that, I'm like, that doesn't sound like me. Like, sing it from your own voice. And you always sing it better when you sing it from your own voice. Yeah, they draw me to them. They have this magnetic kind of authenticity to their voices that lets you see their spirit.
Okay, speaking of covers, you performed with the CE Pro AllStar Band this past fall, as I had mentioned earlier. How fun was that experience for you to be able to perform in front of your coworkers, your clients, and basically everybody from the industry?
Yeah, well, I'm really lucky. So that was thank you for kind of creating that, cultivating that experience for all of us. I think most of the band members are forever changed from that. And every time we see them, we're like a band of brothers. we're forever a band. I'm very lucky that Leon has always supported me to be me always. And so much that, I've taken gigs on the road when I've been at trade shows. And as a result, a lot of my dealers, a lot of my close friends in the industry have seen me perform, because when we're at a trade show, they'll come out to the bar that I'm singing at, or they'll come out to the bar that I'm doing comedy at. And so because of that, they were all able to kind of like, we did it again at Cedia, it was all of us again, listening, playing some music. I convinced some of the bandmates to play songs that they probably didn't want to play. I think that was, Unfortunately you can't, I wanted to sing Americana stuff, so we had to blend musical stylings, which I think is kind of fun. That was a very unique experience. That was my 7th CEDIA, and the most memorable by far. I think the second most memorable would be the year that Leon had our 20th anniversary. So it was like 3 years ago now, or 3 CEDIAs ago. And we rented a yacht, and that was just like mind blowing and awesome. And we had 400 of our closest friends on that boat, and a really cool live band, Johnny Swim. And that was awesome. But there's something about like leaving your booth and going to a stage and like hopping into another part of yourself that just kind of grounded all of us. I think it made CEDIA very, just much more meaningful for all of us.
Speaking of you, as a matter of fact, one of the band members was Ethan from Leon. Ethan, yourself, and many others, as you alluded to, perform and write your own music. You've been working on new music with some staff members at Leon. How's that process going? And can we expect to hear that music anytime soon?
Yeah, so Ethan Kaplan is our COO. He's Noah Kaplan, our president's brother. I roped him into the situation. He's just such a talented, he's a ham on the stage, but I did have to convince him to do it. And then he's like, of course, I'll oblige. And he loved it and totally went all in. I've been, again, very fortunate. The Kaplan brothers, so Noah and Ethan, and then their youngest brother, Dan Kaplan, all work at Leon. Dan Kaplan's our artistic director, so he takes charge of a lot of our branding and how we present ourselves visually in the world. And I've been writing music. So Dan and I are a band. We call ourselves Camden sometimes, Camden. And so Ethan, Dan, Noah, and I actually started about 5 years ago, 6 years ago, probably like a year after I started at Leon, writing music together. We've been writing music for, that long, so about 6 years. About 3-4 years ago, Dan and I started seriously gigging and writing music together. We started recording music together about 2 or 3 years ago now. We've written and completed over 20 songs that we would probably record, and we've been recording now, as I mentioned, for a couple of years, and just released a song April 1st on Spotify as our first joint release on Spotify and iTunes and all those outlets. And it's been awesome. I'm very fortunate that we all kind of like the same music too, and I'm sure I kind of lean a little bit more towards country than they originally did, but that's always been what I love. And we have quite a few other songs that have been fully recorded. Now with quarantine, I haven't been able to get together with Dan and have beer and salami and write music, so that's kind of been a bummer. But we have another song that's done and ready to go, so I think we'll be releasing that in the next couple months. But it's been kind of fun to have a song released during quarantine. We did not plan that way. We planned the date, a few months before we even heard about what coronavirus was. So it worked out kind of well. It was fun.
Excellent. Now, it would be remiss of me not to ask, since it's come up a couple of times, about your comedy career. How does a musician, a singer-songwriter, find a way into comedy?
Yeah, man, so I've been doing comedy now for about 3 years, maybe shy of 3 years even. But I've been a performer my whole life, and I've been on stage my whole life. So to say that I just started doing comedy is probably not true, because while I didn't go on stage to do open mics and to tell jokes for 30 minutes or however many minutes I get, I've been performing and writing joke concepts for my whole life. I've been that person. I think the first time I ever wanted to do comedy was when I wrote my sister's wedding speech. Pretty funny stuff. But then, I went on this like meditation and yoga retreat, and we were forced to be quiet for like days. And all I could do was write jokes about it. So then I just kind of like came home and was like, all right, you have this calling, you have to go do it. And it's been awesome. It's kind of been this whirlwind. I'm kind of bummed because some of my biggest shows have been canceled as a result of quarantine, but I like to always think that everything's happening as it should. And I know that that's a hard pill to swallow often, but I'm not losing hope, and I'm not losing interest. Certainly. I know that a lot of people might be realizing, hey, I don't actually miss it, or hey, there's all these other things that I've been wanting to do. I haven't felt, the need to be on stage, whereas I'm like itching. Let me tell you, doing comedy on Zoom has been an adjustment. I've done that a few times now, and I still really love it, but it's just an adjustment.
Okay, before we wrap things up, can you tell people where they can find out more about you, your website, any of your social sites?
Please follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is at Camila Ballario. It's my full name. It's Camila with one L, Ballario with two L's. So at Camila Ballario on Instagram. I also have a Facebook page, of course. And you can find me on Spotify. So on Spotify and iTunes, just look my name up. My latest song is called Ghost Town. I have a playlist on Spotify that's kind of gaining popularity. It's called Laid Back Listening, and Ghost Town's on it, of course. And so yeah, follow it. That'd be awesome.
Okay, and the website?
Oh yeah, right. So you guessed it. It's CamilaBallario.com.
Okay. Before we close things out, I would like to put you on the spot. Could you perform a new song for us?
Well, of course I will, but only because you asked nicely.
Thank you.
Yeah, actually, maybe I'll sing for you my new song, the one that I just released.
Awesome.
Hopefully
Thank you.
can still see me. Let me make sure that we're still in tune here. I thank you so much for having me on here. This has been awesome.
Thank you for taking time out of your day.
Yeah, of course. So yeah, this song is called Ghost Town.
Okay.
Hopefully you can see me well. I know it's kind of bright. Okay, here we go. Turned around, the view was gone. World was spinning all around. Didn't even leave a trace. And I'm holding on somehow. Up and down and side to side. Couldn't find it, but Lord knows I tried. And now it's disappeared. Didn't even say goodbye. Never know when it's gonna be the best time. Never know when it's gonna be the last time. As if I had a choice, I would've held on. As if I had a choice, I would've laid down. And I wouldn't let go. 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 I thought I left it all on standby. This road I've been down 1,000 times. This ghost town skyline is long past closing time. Never know when it's gonna be the best time. Never know when it's gonna be the last time. As if I had a choice, I would've held on. As if I had a choice, I would've laid down. And I wouldn't let go. 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 Wouldn't let go. And I wouldn't let go. Heavy tears filled my eyes as I was driving home. Wish wish I could have seen it all. Now I'm really on my own. Oh, yeah. Never know when it's gonna be the best time. Never know when it's gonna be the last time. As if I had a choice, I would have held on. As if I had a choice, I would have laid down. And I wouldn't let go. 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 I wouldn't let go. And I wouldn't let go.
Thank you, Cami. That was beautiful.
Thank you. It's my pleasure, and thank you for having me on here.
Thank you. And to find out more about Cami and her company, Leon Speakers, please visit her website, her social pages, and her website, and Leon Speakers too. Thank you, Cami.
Thank you.
That was beautiful.
Thank you so much. Thanks.